What's up? What's happening? This is your commissioner back at it again. It's been a while for the show. 3 weeks, maybe a month. I'm not sure, but we're
When you get
live.
your job, that's whenever it started.
Yeah, about 4 weeks now. We're live. We're ready to roll. We're not going to do a typical show of, like a preview for the week. This show is simply power rankings with 3 weeks to go in the year. This week plus 2 more weeks. Um, break down our power rankings. We're going to talk about who we think are 4 teams that are out of the playoffs. I think 3 teams are kind of like, they kind of know they're out, but they're kind of floating around like, oh, maybe there's hope, but we're here to tell you that there ain't none. And then the 4th spot that who's going to be out, there's a couple teams there that are fighting to get in that could be left out. It's going to be a wild last 3 weeks. I think it's guaranteed that final 8th seed, maybe even the 7th seed, is going to come down to points for. I think that's a given. That the last playoff spot's going to come down to the most points for. Again, the top 8 teams make it. It does not matter divisions. Top 8 teams, it goes by record. If you have the same record, the tiebreaker goes to points for. That simple. We got payouts for most points scored or high scoring. So as soon as that last week ends, week 14, I'll send out, if you win $12 or 2 weeks, 24, I'll send that out. Also, I'll send out on the final week of who scored the most points in the regular season. I want to say we did that this year, right? It's regular season, or was playoffs included?
I doubt playoffs are included.
I'm going to have to go double check the picture I sent out. But I'll pay that out as well. That is, you get money for the most points scored. And also the pick'em, is regular season only as well. So that'll get paid out as well. I don't know the exact payouts, but, I'll find that for you. But we're also going to do power rankings. Who's our 4 teams that won't make playoffs? And then we're going to do a little game. It's going to be serious contender. There's 3 groups you could be in. Serious contender to win the title. You're going to make the playoffs and you could win it. And then the last thing is you could sneak in, you're on the verge, or you're out. So, we'll get into that later. Let's get into the power rankings right away. There's a lot of good matchups this week. Very important matchups. You want to touch base on that real quick? Just like some important matchups.
Sure, far away.
For me, the most important matchup of the week is Warren versus Mike Germ. Warren's sitting at 4-7. Mike Germ's sitting at 4-7. They're both losers of 1 in a row. Warren, this is a tight one. Mike's projected 119. He got 17 out of Cedric Wilson. Warren got 23 out of Carr, 3 out of Swift. He left hurt. 18 out of Knox, 4 out of New Orleans defense. This is going to be a tight game. Why is it so important? The loser of this is out of the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree.
We have one team that is out of the playoffs already. Randy is eliminated. Randy's done. Randy has a 0% chance to make it. He's out. There's no shot he makes playoffs, so that's one team. So there's 3 spots left. Randy's one of them. The second spot's going to get locked up on Monday night. It's either going to be Warren or Mike Germ. The loser of that is out, 100% out.
I think it's safe to say that the loser of Warren, Mike, Carter, whoever loses is out. I think the 3 of them need to win out.
Yes, Mike, Warren, and Carter all have to win, and Mike and Warren play each other, so they can't all win.
Yeah.
So Warren or Mike is 100. The loser of that game is 100% out. If Carter loses to Cam this week, which the projections, favor Cam pretty heavily, Matt will be also eliminated. So something to keep an eye on with 2 weeks left, because
basically Joe right now, Cup of Joe, he's the line. He has 5 wins. We kind of figured out you need to get to 7 wins. Unless Joe loses, then he'll be tied with whoever wins the Warren Mike game. Joey does have an advantage having a second highest points for, because with the tiebreakers he'll get that advantage. But basically, as many times as if Joey loses 2, it's all thrown away and everyone except Randy has a chance at it. So I think you, me, Paul, and Tyler are all in with already 7. I believe Cam, Nick, and Jake need to each win at least 1 more, and Joe has to at least win 2 more. So,
Yeah.
see how that works out, how that plays out throughout the season.
Yeah. So I just looked up the high scoring. The pot's 168. So I'll pay that out accordingly. And then most points for the regular season gets $50. And then also the pick'em wins. It was $10 a guy.
Keep going.
Everyone participated, so that's $120 as well. So those will be paid out at the end of the regular season.
I think I'm one of the only, well, not the only people, but I haven't won high score yet, and I have 7 wins.
Yeah, there's a few people that haven't won it yet, but we'll get into that at the end. But yeah, very important game with Mike and Warren. Cam has a very important game versus Carter. Not so much important for Cam. He still has 3 weeks to go. He got some room to work with. But Carter got to win now. Carter got to win out. He loses, he's done. Loser Warren and Germ is out.
Okay, there's a big one next week. It's Joey versus Carter. Joey loses this week, Carter wins. That game is monumental.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that's something. And then Paul plays Germ. Paul's a heavy favorite at this point.
Yep. I have Randy next week.
You play Randy, so that's
last week of the year I got Tyler. So I mean, there's a lot of good games.
You got a Jonathan Taylor list Tyler. I played Joey then. Anything else?
So let's get into it. Let's do what do you want to start
Carter plays Randy. So Carter has a path.
Carter definitely has a path.
They all have a path except Randy. And I would like. I mean, as much as I respect the guy, I think Germ's pretty well. He has he's hanging on by a fingernail here. He has a little bit of a tougher schedule than anybody else, I think.
Let's get into power rankings.
Okay.
You wanna go like our number 12 and up?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so you give your 12, I'll give my 12, and then we'll do our 11, 10, whatever.
Yep. So my 12 is obviously Craven Moorhead. It's Randy. He's 3-8, 12th in scoring with 1,146. He's lost 3 in a row. ESPN gives him a 0% chance of making the playoffs. We discussed that. ESPN's rankings have him at 12. Dak is good. Higgins is okay. Debo's great. Pittman's great. Cooper's great. His wide receivers are really good. Cordero Patterson has been a great pickup. The only real issue is his RB2. If he has Jonathan Taylor, Patterson's number 2, he might be the favorite to win the league with those receiving core. I know he didn't draft him, but making the moves, if you drop Taylor on his team right now, he's probably the favorite to win the league.
My number 12 is also Randy. I don't think he watches the show, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But I agree with you. I think if you throw if he doesn't make that Jonathan Taylor move for Chris Carson's and Randy's lineup looks something like Dak Prescott, Jonathan Taylor, Cordero Patterson, slash Chase Edmonds. I know he's on IR, but he's been solid throughout the year. Dak, Jonathan Taylor, Cordero Patterson. You get Higgins, Debo Samuel, Michael Pittman Jr., Amari Cooper, and then tight end. I guess he rotates with Uzma and Mo Alley Cox, and then his flex is one of the other 3 or 4 wideouts he has. He has a solid team. If that's
I don't know. I mean, if he doesn't trade Taylor, who knows if he makes all those moves to get Debo and Pittman and all those too. So, but if you just drop Taylor on a team now, he's probably the best team in the league.
He's one of the 3 teams that I would have to win it all.
Yeah.
But he made a very questionable decision, to say the least. And he, I don't know what he was trying to do, but he's not in the playoffs. He's not. I don't know if he won a high score. I think he won.
I still have the clip, so watch out.
So go ahead. I don't give a shit. He's out of the playoffs. He's my number 12.
Yep, I think it's obvious.
My number 11 is Mike Germ. It was a battle, but I think 9, 10, and 11 are all very similar. They could all be switched around, but my number 11 is Mike Germ. He has one of the lowest points scored in the league. He actually has less than Randy, which is kind of No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He
No,
has
he's
40.
11th. He has one.
He has 40 more than Randy.
Yeah.
His team got screwed over. He lost, lost Russell Wilson. Couple other injuries. Just didn't draft great running backs at all. Made some moves, but just doesn't seem like it's enough. Mike Germ is my number 11.
So yeah, I got 11 Coastal champs. Mike Germ, 4-7, 11th in scoring. He's lost one. ESPN gives him a 2% chance. ESPN has him at 11. His QB's great. Judy and Sermon hurt him all season. Gaskin and Eli Mitchell have been okay. Metcalf and Brown are both wide receiver 2. That's fine. Fant's he's tight end 11, so he is a tight end 1. He just got unlucky, I think, and I mean, yeah, he got unlucky. It happens sometimes, unfortunately. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah. All right, you take number 10.
All right, number 9 and 10, I have a tie. Why don't you start with number 10 so I can see which way I should go?
My number 10 is Warren.
Okay, let me start. My number 10 is Warren. I have Warren and Carter tied at 9 and 10 apiece. Stone Cold Stunner's Warren. He's 4-7, 9th in the league in scoring. He's lost one. ESPN has him at 9. His QB was great, but he missed the last 4 games, and he had 9 points prior to that. His running backs are okay. Swift is good, but he's banged up now. Wide receivers are his strength. He has 2 wide receiver 1s, and it's just really bad luck with Woods. I can't tell you why, outside of injuries, he didn't win more games. He has a really good team on paper. It just didn't work out for him.
Yeah, just to piggyback off that, my number 9 is also Carter. So our bottom 4 teams are all the same.
All the 4 that are fighting for the playoff spots.
In that exact order, I couldn't agree more. I think Warren's team on paper, I think Matt's team on paper as well is decent.
I agree with both of them.
I just think they've been too inconsistent. They've had some bad luck. Warren with the trade, with Swift now going down, Robert Woods going down, didn't even play.
Who did he trade for Robert Woods?
He traded Jamar Chase and Antonio Gibson.
Okay.
For Swift and Woods. Just some bad luck for Warren. I think both their rosters looks good on paper, and at the time of the draft, I don't know. We'd have to go back and watch the film, but I think they were both highly ranked in our preseason pools. They had a good roster on paper. Injuries, underperformance, too much inconsistencies. They're at 9 and 10 for me. Why don't you do your number 8?
Well, my 9 was Carter. Tom
Yep.
Brady need other schmucks. 4-7, 10th in points. ESPN has him at 10. Brady is still a stud at number 2 on the year. Running backs are okay. Montgomery killed him with his injuries. Jones has been a little up and down, but he's still a top 10 back. Connor has filled in real nice. He's been much better than expected. Wide receivers are good with Thielen and Cooks are decent. Hilton and Ridley, however, they're a disaster this year. They never really panned out. Ridley never had his blowout game. Tight end was hurt. Gronk missed a significant amount of time. But like we said, I think he drafted real well, just some bad luck. And now we get into our playoff teams.
Yes. Let me hear your number 8.
Number 8, I hate fantasy football. Scalos. 6-5, 4th in the league in points, which is weird because that's not weird. He was on fire for the longest time, and then one little thing happened with Derrick Henry, and then he's lost 4 in a row. He's the coldest team in the league.
Yep.
He lost Henry. Kamara's hurt. Russ has been hurt, and that's why he has the 4th highest in points, but he's fell so far. He lost some superstars that have been floating him all season. Godwin's good. Freiermuth is surging. Devontae Smith can break out, but he needs to get his guys healthy. Henry's not coming back, I don't think, but he needs Kamara to come back. He needs Russ to turn into the guy he drafted.
Well, he didn't draft Russ. He trade with.
He needs to get Russ as the quarterback he's supposed to.
No, just throwing this out there to everyone watching. I hope everyone's watching. We did not talk about our power rankings before this. We don't know. I don't know who his power rankings are. He doesn't know who mine is. But so far, they're all the same. My number 8 is also Scalos. I think Scalos, like you said, was 6-1. He's now loser of 4 straight. He is now 6-5, fighting to get in the playoffs. He made a move after Henry got hurt to get Alvin Kamara, and then now Kamara gets hurt. If you plug Kamara in, maybe he doesn't lose 4 in a row. Maybe he's sitting in feeling comfortable in the playoffs. But Kamara's been disappointing. He's been hurt. He hasn't done anything for Skalos yet. Does he get him back next week or the week after to get a late playoff push, or is it going to be too late? I don't know. Skalos' team, one injury pretty much ruined his whole season.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to one trade happening, ruined a lot of people's seasons, but for Skalos personally, Derrick Henry goes down and his team that was just the unfolding moment, and he makes a move. Now Kamara's hurt. He had Julio Jones. He's hurt all year. Trades Hollywood Brown, trades Mahomes, Russell Wilson, just tried to make some moves. I give him credit, being a GM there. You see your clear number one player, the best player in fantasy this year goes down. I don't know if I wouldn't consider panicking. I just figured, hey, if I'm him, you got to make some moves to get some points elsewhere to upgrade certain positions. He tried, and we'll see if it turns out to be enough. But right now it doesn't look great for Skalos. My number 7. This is where I think we're going to start to get different. My number 7th ranked power in my power rankings is you, LB.
Yeah, we're different.
For me, it's you. I think right now, just with the injury bug, for you a little bit, you're still one of the best records in the league. You're 7-4. You got 1,300 points scored. Hurts has been on fire. He kind of leveled off for like a 2-week stretch there, just not being great. But he's actually looked like a great quarterback the last 3 weeks. I'm not talking fantasy.
Yeah, they started running a lot more and taking pressure off him. And
I'm talking about being a quarterback. He's looked a lot better, which helps him. Chubb missing games here and there, injured with COVID, but Melvin Gordon's been good. I'm not a huge fan of your wideouts, and I think that's what tended me to drop you to 7. Was the wideout play. Tony's been banged up. I don't trust Golladay. AB's been hurt. I don't know. I just don't like your wideouts much, and I think that's why I put you towards 7. But I think if you get a healthy Chubb and Hunt and Kelsey and AB, you're going to be one of my middle of the pack in the playoffs that could definitely make a push.
Okay. What's that, number 7? My number 7 is Hot Lockett. It's Cam. 6-5, third in the league, third in the year in points. He's won 2 in a row. ESPN has him at 3, so I'm a little bit farther down on him. He is QB1, 2 running back 2s. Cook hasn't had his blow-up game yet, but that doesn't mean he won't. Jefferson's been good. Mike Williams has been quiet recently until he scored against the Steelers' suspect defense. Lockett's been up and down with the Russell situation. Andrews is a number 2 tight end, so he's elite. I just worry about the inconsistency with having Jefferson and Cook and then having Mike Williams with a volatile Chargers team, although I think he definitely has the ability to make a push with Josh Allen, so we'll see how that works out for him.
Yeah, Cam is your 7, and you're my number 7. Let's move on to number 6. Who you got?
I love fantasy football. Jake May. He's 6-5, 4th in points, which I think is inaccurate because I noted I love fantasy football and I hate fantasy football, so I might have screwed it up. He's won 1 in a row. ESPN has him as 5.
No, you're right. He is one of the most points scored in the league.
Okay.
Yeah.
QB, 1 running back, 1 receiver, 1 tight end, 1 defense, 1 kicker. They're all in the top 9 of their position. I think the worst one's Evans at 9. If not for Taylor, Eckler would be the talk of the league. He's having a remarkable season. His running back, too, is also really good. Wide receiver's been tough because of Hopkins being injured. So once he gets him back, he's a very solid team when they're all healthy and he's hitting on all cylinders. So I think as I'm reading this, I probably undervalued him a little bit, but he's just a guy that can, you get Hopkins back in after the break with a healthy Kyler. He's right back into the fold, and it's definitely not too late. He has 6 wins. He gets 1 more. He's probably in the playoffs, going to make some noise.
Yeah, my number 6 team is also Jake May. Like you said, he's 6-5. He needs one win out of the next 3 weeks. I think gets him in playoffs, considering how many points for he has. But one down week, he goes out and scores 80, 90 points, and someone goes for 120. It's a 40, 50 point swing. So, definitely got to score. But Jake May is my 6. He scores a lot. I like Herbert throwing the ball, and if he's not throwing the ball, his guy's running it in. James Robinson's been solid. Mike Evans reliable. Hunter Renfrow at 21. He's been getting more and more consistent. You throw him when Hopkins comes back. You throw Renfrow in the flex, and you got Mike Evans, D Hop, and Renfrow to go along. I mean, Gesicki's hit or miss. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's not. But Eckler, Robinson, Patriots D, kicker's good, quarterback's good. I might be a little too low on him as well. He should be maybe a little bit higher on mine as well. I have him as the 6th rank. When we get into, serious contenders, in players could win it, sneak in, sneak out. Maybe you'll be surprised where I have him at. But he is my 6th ranked team in my power rankings. Let's do my number 5 team is Cam Bildhauer. I have Hut Lockett as my 5th best team in my power rankings. He's 6-5. He's in a similar boat as Jake May. I think Cam has a lot of firepower, just like Jake May. He has Josh Allen, Dalvin Cook, Henderson, Justin Jefferson, Gallup with Cooper out and CD 15 points. Mark Andrews, Tyler Lockett, Mike Williams has cooled down a lot. Bit of solid flex option. Jarvis Landry's solid. I think he has the guys at wideout to mix and match that wideout 2/flex spot based on his guys' matchups. But I think you're gonna know what you're gonna get with Josh Allen. Cook's just waiting to explode. And they're gonna be making a playoff push, the Vikings, down the road. Maybe they rely on him heavy to get them there. And Jefferson as well, it can go off for 30, 40 points. I like Cam's team. I think you'll see one later on in the show, but he's my 5th ranked team. And I think he has a opportunity to make a run as well.
My 5th ranked team is Team Defied. Justin Defied. 7-4, 5th in points, lost 1. ESPN has you at 6. Stafford's been great. Running backs have been okay. I know you moved a lot of guys back and forth to get the running backs where you wanted them. Wide receivers are good. Your wide receiver 3 is Mooney, and he's currently number 22. So you have a couple ones and nothing less than a wide receiver 2. Pitts has been up and down. But he's still a tight end 1. He's ranked number 10 overall. So I think you have a pretty solid team. And just depending on, Stafford and the Rams moving to colder weather, I don't know if that affects them more or what happens. But, we'll see what happens. That's going to be consistent with most teams in the league that are warmer cities going to colder cities to play.
Yeah, absolutely. That was 5th, right?
Yep.
Yeah, give me your 4th.
Batting lawn. I'm 7-4, 6th in points. I've won 1. ESPN has me at 7. My QB is elite, number 4 on the season. Running backs have been great. I believe I navigated through the Hunt injury and the Chubb injury very well. Hunt's supposed to be back maybe this week, probably next week. I'm excited about that. Antonio Brown just came out today. They misdiagnosed him. It's supposed to be a 6-week injury. Next week is week 6. So I get my wide receiver 1 back. I'm
excited for him to come back.
I hope so.
I think he makes that offense go. I really.
Well, I don't think I don't think he makes the offense go, but he's very dynamic to add another stud into that fold. But
it's Brady's guy, man.
My wide receivers are a little weak, but like I said, getting AB back will help, and that shuffles everything around. And even with Dalton Schultz now, when Kelsey's in, maybe Schultz goes to a flex or something, so I don't need to rely on receivers as much. I think I'm actually getting healthy and improving at the right time, so I'm excited to see what the playoffs bring.
Yeah, that's number 4. I am number 4 for me. I have myself ranked as 4. Just to piggyback off what you said, I love my quarterback. He's a top 5 maybe. I think he's ranked 6 now. He's been struggling, but he's still up there. He has an opportunity to be, I think his floor is 20 a week. Zeke, I know Thursday night people were like, 25 yards. He caught 6 balls, scored a touchdown. They said going into the week with his knee injury, he was going to be limited. They wanted to give Pollard some touches on a short week with him being banged up. I don't think it's anything long term, or something to be concerned about. I'm going to have an option at RB2 with Damian Harris and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Helaire came back, had 12 attempts, 63 yards and a touchdown. So I like what I saw him before the bye week. He's another option that I will have. Like you said, my wideouts I think are very elite. I think they compete with some of the best in the league. Keenan Allen, McLaurin, and Mooney. And I would like to see Odell continue to, get more and more involved in that offense. Like you said, though, Pitts has been concerning to me. I don't know. It's just Atlanta in general is so hit or miss.
Very.
And he's so hit or miss too. But he can boom or he could bust. But I have options with flex with, Keenan Allen, Mooney, McLaurin, maybe even Odell, Edwards-Helaire on the bench with Harris. I like my team a lot. I don't think I'm up there as a serious contender, but I definitely think I could make a run in the playoffs as well. So we'll see. My third ranked team, now we're getting into the top three here. My third ranked team is Paul Schaum. And Paul has a nice team here. I don't know how I want to say this, but I'm going to say it. I hate talking to him about anything fantasy.
I'll say, be careful what you say. He got a very big head. He's ready to explode.
It's very hard to talk to him. Sometimes he doesn't even, you see him and he doesn't even say, hey dude, what's up? It's just, you see my team. I don't give a fuck. Say hi first. But he, some would say he did it the right way. I'm one of them. He did it the right way. He made good moves, not questionable, not handed to him. He made moves that he, as the GM of the year, in my mind, is Paul Schaum. He made moves the right way. He went out and got a running back options with, Gibson and Miles Sanders. They're not the best, but they're decent RB2s. He's been patient on Barkley all year, more patient than I would have been. I still don't
think
trust
he's
him.
being patient. I
still don't trust him. I don't know what the year brings out. They kind of stink, the Giants. What do they do with him? I don't know. But Devontae Adams, he goes out and makes a move for Jamar Chase. He's filled in with Booker nicely. He goes and picks up Elijah Moore. George Kittle, he's been patient on all year. Brandon Ayuk, I mean, you and him both have sucked Brandon Ayuk's cock all year. And he's finally gone 18, then a 5-point week, then a 21-point week. Maybe something happens with him where he gets going. Paul's team's nice. Lamar Jackson, can he get something out of Barkley? Can really push him over the top. Miles Sanders / Antonio Gibson is a very nice RB2 to have options at. Devontae Adams, you know what he is. You know what Jamar Chase is. Kittle, if he continues to stay healthy, is solid. Then the flex position, he can play some games with Claypool or Ayuk. I think Paul has a very nice team. He's starting to score points. He's won 4 or 5 in a row. Is he getting hot too early? I don't know. But I give him credit for making smart moves, good moves to get his team in a position to contend for a title.
My number 3 is the fantasy football team, Tyler. 7-4, first in points. He's won 3 in a row. ESPN has him as number 2. I think it's safe to say he's probably the most hated team in the league, I would imagine. His quarterback's okay. Rodgers is 9th. Now he's banged up with his foot, so we'll see how that works out for him. Running back is his strength. He has Taylor and Najee. They're both top 4 running backs. Diggs and Moore are fine. Diggs is 5th, Moore's 14th, so you got a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. Waller's a tight end 1, but is he fading, man? He got hurt again yesterday. He was up and down a little bit. He's been trending down. He had a good week last week, I believe. But his flex is a joke. That's why I can't crown him the champ yet, like a lot of people are. He doesn't have any depth. Najee Harris got hurt last week against the Chargers. He takes 30 carries, 30 touches a game. He takes 30, probably 40 major hits a game. He gets decked every single play. He's a college running back. He's older for a college running back. The Steelers fans are going to be jacked off, but he's gonna wear down. All the rookie running backs wear down at the end of the year because in college they don't play as many games as they do in the pros. They're not designed to it. And to give a guy like Najee Harris 300 carries as a rookie year, I feel bad for the guy. I hate to weep for a millionaire, but he's not going to get a second contract. They're destroying his future already on mostly meaningless games when they're losing. But whatever, maybe maybe Najee stays healthy all year. Maybe Taylor on that week 14 bye doesn't hurt. But Tyler's number 3. Good team, has a chance to win it. But I think the other two teams are stacked much better, designed much stronger than his team is.
Yeah. Just to go off yours, I'm going to play the other side. Najee, I think playing for Alabama, I think you're playing 15, 16 games a year.
Yeah, but against inferior opponents, with a way worse. I mean, he has the best offensive line.
12, in college, 12 regular season games. That's 12. Then the SEC championship games 13. Semifinal games 14, and the national championships 15.
So he's already playing 17 for the Steelers, and then if they make the playoffs.
Right. He's definitely playing more games, but I think that workload, I think he's used to it. I really do. But, I mean, he does take a shit ton of hits.
Yeah, I don't think any player in the league gets hit more than he does, and he doesn't get hit by cornerbacks. He's getting hit by defensive tackles, linemen, and linebackers constantly.
Let's move on to number 2. Who you got?
The Island of Misfit Toys, Paul Shaw, 7-4, 8th in points. He's won 5 in a row, hottest team in the league. ESPN has him as number 1. He did all of his moves work out. His QB has been great when he plays. Talking about when they play, when they don't. Barkley and Miles Sanders. Gibson's been good. I don't know why he automatically relegates him back to the bench with Barkley and Sanders coming back. But if we want to talk about the pass catchers, that's where Paul shines. Adams, Chase, and Kittle. If this team stays healthy, he'll be successful. I think a lot has to do with not even as much Barkley as much, but as Miles Sanders, just because it's kind of weird because he said to me, when Miles Sanders comes back, look at what the other running backs are doing. Sanders is going to do that. Is it weird to say that only after Miles Sanders get hurt is when they started running and throwing to the running backs? This happened last year too, different coach. Miles Sanders had a very pedestrian season. I don't know that he's as great as everyone thinks he is. And with this Penn State backfield he has, it could hurt him. I think you're going to get out of everything you're going to get out of Adams, Chase, and Kittle, you're going to get. Ayuk's even up there. And Lamar's even up there. The question marks are Barkley and Sanders and even Gibson. If Gibson's healthy, he's in my lineup. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where you fit him in, but I don't know. I think I know Sanders is playing the Giants, but I think I watched Miles Sanders before I actually put him in. Although he has 7 wins, I don't think it really matters. It's all seeding, but I think everyone's so jumbled at the top, I don't know that seeding even makes that big of a deal.
Yeah, I agree. My number 2 is Joe Batting. Joe's team is very good on paper. He's 5-7, I believe. He's still fighting to get into playoffs. And I know people are going to watch and be like, oh, you have a team that's 5-7 ranked 1 and 2. Just hear us out. The power rankings are going to be different than what we think for playoffs.
I'm talking about today, right now.
Season
started. That's the best team.
It's going to be different. And I'll touch base on that on our next segment. But to me, Joe's team is on paper and with what I think I project ahead. I think Joe's team is very serious contender. He has a quarterback now. He's getting healthy. CMC he's starting to get rolling. Mixon's been good. Cooper Kupp's stupid. Deontay Johnson is getting targets. He's not just getting 2 catches for 50 yards. I mean, you're looking at 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. His team's good. His team's very good. I would not want to see him in the playoffs if he makes it. He has a nice team. I'm trying to pull his team up. It just crashed on me. But
what are you looking for?
Yeah, Hawkinson, 3 for 35. His flex option, A.J. Brown / Waddle, or he could go Van Jefferson. He picked up Stevenson of New England. He got a nice team. He got some depth. He got some options to move around. And that's why Joe's team is number 2 on my power rankings.
My number 1 team is Cup of Joe. Joey, 5-6, second in the league in points. He didn't have McCaffrey for 8 weeks, and he's second in the league in points. ESPN has him at 4. Burrow's okay. Might be his worst player. McCaffrey is very much back. Mixon is on fire. He has 6 TDs in the last 4 games. Kupp is maintaining his fantastic campaign. Deontay's a great number 2. Waddle and A.J. Brown should be fine at flex. I know A.J. Brown, I think we just saw he's out this week. Hawkinson's a tight end 3. The only real issue is he can't afford to lose too many games coming up here, and he has McCaffrey on a bye next week. The only good thing is he's playing Matt Carter next week. So if he can beat Carter without McCaffrey, I think that solidifies him in the playoffs. And if he gets in the playoffs, I think he's the team to beat.
Yeah. My number 1 team is Tyler. I understand what you had to say about him. But he's getting 25 points a week out of Rodgers. You combine Najee and Jonathan Taylor, you're like averaging 45 a week from them combined. I wanted to go look at everyone's running back 1 and 2 and see what their averages are and put them together. I wasn't able to, because I just thought of doing that right now.
Well, I think there's only one other team that would even be close.
Like Cam has a solid running back 1 and 2.
Look at Jake's team.
Dalvin Cook, 16 and 15. That's just under 30 points for Cam. He's averaging between his 2 running backs.
Okay, so Jake May has Eckler and Robinson. Eckler's 2, Robinson's 14.
So Eckler's averaging 22 a week, and
Robinson's 18.
And Robinson is 15.5. So what's that? 35 points a week.
I'm looking at projected, not average. Yeah.
Average 15 plus 22 is 27. 37. My bad.
Yeah. Well, Eckler.
37 for Jake May. He has 2 legit running backs. Like Paul's team, you can't really look at his. Like you got Barkley and Gibson. I mean, they're averaging 12.5 each. Paul's around 24 points average. Zeke's averaging 17. My running back 2 could be Damian Harris or Edwards-Helaire, who's averaging 11. So they're right around the 10, 11 mark. I'm getting 27 out of my running backs. you are 18 out of Chubb and Melvin Gordon with 12. You're looking at what, 30?
It would have been Hunt though. It's hard because of all the injuries, but he plays Tampa
Hunt, 20
now.
20 and 20. You're like 38 points a week with your running.
But I'm going to tell you, and I don't want to argue too much. I just want to discuss. So we're crowning Taylor the greatest player that's ever played the game.
No.
So he played Buffalo last week and he scored 4 touchdowns. That's definitely going to jack up your average a bit. So he plays Tampa this week. I know Tampa got ran on a little bit last week, but I'd have to assume that Tampa's going to game plan for Jonathan Taylor. Then he has Houston, which he played Houston week 6. He scored 28. That's a great day. And then he's on a bye, so that's going to bring his average down. Then he comes back and plays New England, who has a good run defense. That's the first round of the playoffs. Second round of the playoffs, he plays at Arizona, who's pretty good at stopping a run. Then he plays Vegas. I mean, I'm not ready to say Tyler's going to win the league.
No, I get that.
It's all based on Taylor. He doesn't. If Taylor or Harris doesn't play.
Here's the thing. I'll finish breaking down why he's my number 1. I think his team's starting to get hot. He's going to win 2 or 3 high-scoring weeks in a row. Diggs is starting to get more involved in the offense. I'm not a huge fan of DJ Moore, which doesn't leave him many options for a wide receiver 2, and his flex is horrible. And now he loses his tight end. But Zach Ertz has been pretty decent for Arizona. Ever since he got there, he's been pretty reliable. His defense has been disappointing with the Bucs, but he has 2 top 4 running backs. His running backs are both inside the top 4. You're getting 45 points a week from them, plus another 20 from Rodgers. I mean, you're looking at 70 points right off the top from your quarterback, running back, and running back 2. Diggs is averaging 17. I mean, you're looking at right around 90 points from 4 guys. Sprinkle in a wide receiver 2, tight end, and running flex. So you get fucking maybe 10 out of them. You're already at 120. So, I mean, yes, I agree with you. It's solely based and relies on Najee Harris and Jonathan Taylor. I think they are reliable, though. And I think they can get the job done. Right now, though, I think you match him up with anyone, I think he wins. Or is favored to win.
He's playing Rodgers is playing the Rams this week, then he's on a bye.
But moving forward with Waller, which looked like an ACL to me or some sort of knee, I don't know what it is. I didn't look anything up. I don't know. I probably would have heard if it was an ACL, but how long does he miss?
Even if he doesn't miss.
Huh?
Even if he doesn't miss, he had 18 last week, but then he had 6 the week before, then 16, then bye, and then he didn't play, then 10, then 8. He's all over the board. I don't think Waller's as great as he has been last year.
No, but he's still top 5 reliable tight end who can go off at any moment. But that's why Tyler's my number one. Obviously there's still 3 weeks left, so anything can happen. Anyone, really can still win it. I'm not saying, throw in the towel, it's over, but I think Waller, if he misses an extended period of time, and DJ Moore, that quarterback situation, and Tyler really doesn't have a bench. I mean, one bad week.
He has no depth whatsoever.
One bad week. Say Rodgers does what he does, Najee does what he does, but say Taylor has 12 and Diggs only has 10. I mean, where are the other points coming from? I don't know. But Najee could go for 40. Jonathan Taylor could go for 50.
He has $9 left, too, and he has to replace a quarterback next week.
Yeah.
So.
It'll be interesting to see. But that's my power rankings. Tyler, Joey, Paul, me at 4, Cam 5, Jake May 6, LB 7, Scalos 8, Matt 9, Warren 10, Jerm 11, Randy 12. And for you, Joey at 1, Paul at 2, Tyler 3, yourself at 4, myself at 5, Jake May 6, Cam 7, Scalos 8, Matt 9, Warren 10, Mike Jerm 11, Randy 12. That's our power rankings. Let's get into the little game. Let's make this quick. I know it's a long episode, but serious contenders in the playoffs in playoffs and could win it, and then maybe sneak in or they're out. You want me to start or you?
Yeah, I mean, mine pretty much aligns with my power rankings.
Yeah, let me hear it. Go ahead.
Out, Warren, Jerm, Carter, Randy. They have to have a lot happen. The guys in the playoffs, but I don't know they have a real legit shot of winning is you, me, Jake, Cam, and Scalos, and the legit contenders are Joey, Tyler, Paul.
Yeah. For me, the sneak in / out, I have Warren, Mike, Randy, and Matt and Scalos as sneak in / out. I think Warren and Mike's game is going to tell you who's out after this weekend.
I wouldn't be surprised if Warren or Carter made it in.
Yeah, one of them's out. I think Mike's out and Randy's out for sure. And then that leaves 3 spots left. Like I said, though, the 4 spots left, Joey's still at 5. Joey needs to win 2 out of the next 3. He got me this week, which is going to be a good game. It started off with some good games Thursday. It's going to be a good game. Joey loses, and then he has to play you and then someone else. So, I mean,
Carter.
Joey's your number 1 and my number 2, but he might not even make playoffs. It's a real legitimate question to think, or something to think about, that he could not make it.
So he has you, then he has Carter without McCaffrey, and then he has me. So he has to fight. He has to.
He's the number 1 and number ranked 2 in our power rankings, but he might not. He has a legit chance of not making it.
Well, that's what having that McCaffrey injury does to you when it's feast or famine.
But Matt plays Cam this week. Cam wins, Matt's out. I mean, so realistically, you're looking at 3 teams that after this weekend are going to be out. Randy's already out. The loser of Warren and Mike is out. That's 2. And then if Matt loses to Cam, he's out. That's 3. There's only 1 spot left. So something to keep an eye on this weekend. A lot of teams could lock up a spot this weekend and start thinking about seeding. But those are my 5: Scalos, Warren, Mike, Randy, and Matt. Sneak in, but probably are out. In playoffs, that could win it. Myself, you, Cam, and Jake. I think all 4 of us. All 4 of our teams are capable of getting hot and making a run, and we have the ability to upset the other 3. I really do. I think we could win any week. I think we all have consistent enough teams where, Jake, for example, Jake May. Herbert could go out for 40. Eckler could catch 3 of the 4 touchdowns he throws. Yeah. Eckler could go out for 30. James Robinson could score 2 touchdowns and get 20. Who's Jake's wideouts? He gets D-Hop back. You know, he's DeAndre Hopkins. He could do something.
Mm-hmm.
Who's his other wideouts?
I'm trying to pull it up now. He had good ones.
I got it. Jake May, yeah, he gets D-Hop back. Mike Evans could go off for 20 or more a week. Renfro is slowly climbing up the rankings. He's gone, after their bye week, he's gone 17, 17, 7, and 21. He's starting to become more involved in the offense. If Waller misses time, you know, you're looking at a potential, you know, a team that could make a move. Cam Bildhauer. Josh Allen could go off any fucking week. Dalvin Cook's waiting to pop. Henderson could find the end zone a few times. He's reliable. Justin Jefferson, he's crazy good. Mark Andrews, Lockett could go off. Mike Williams, Landry, solid wide receiver twos. Solid team. For you, you know, Jalen Hurts could drop 40 any given week, 30, 40. Nick Chubb could go for 40. Melvin Gordon's a solid 10-plus a week. For me, though, your wideouts are shaky. I don't like Gage. I don't like Galladay. Tim Patrick. You know, you need AB back, and you need him to be great.
Yeah, I would ideally roll with Antonio Brown and Kadarius Toney.
Right. But
hopefully something works out there, and then get Hunt back in.
Yeah. You know, then that takes away the flex spot, which, you know, you put Hunt in there and take out one of those, you know, not really reliable wideouts. And then you got Kelsey, who can go off for who the hell knows. And for me, Stafford could go off. Zeke, you know, could go off. I think he's a nice 10, 15 points a week, but could go off. Get Edwards-Helaire in there, could find the end zone with some catches. Keenan Allen and McLaurin could go for 20, 30 any week.
Does Pitts have more than one touchdown this year? One touchdown. So, I mean,
yeah,
he's the running back. I'm sorry, he's tight end 10.
With one touchdown.
Having a 5-point week, a 3-point week, a 5-point week, and one touchdown. So that can easily.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to find the end zone. But, you know, Mooney's starting to really settle in as my flex. He's climbing up the rankings. He's gone 20, 23, and 17. He's starting to find his role in the offense. And then, you know, maybe Odell comes around. I mean, his first game didn't really do much, but they really tried to get him the ball, what it seemed like. So, I mean, you know, maybe I can make a run. Any of those 4 teams can make a run. And then my serious contenders that I think out of this 3 could win it all or are the favorites really is just 2 of them is Tyler and Paul, because I think they're kind of locked in the playoffs. You know, Tyler and Paul have very good teams. Paul, if Barkley can get back to who he is, which is a huge if, because you haven't seen that yet this year. But could he? Yeah, absolutely. You know, Barkley, Gibson, Lamar, Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase, Kittle. He has the opportunity to put up points every week. Same with Tyler. Rod, I already told you what he's averaging a week with the running backs, 45, another 25 from Rodgers, 20 from Diggs. And then my third serious contender, which I probably should put down to the could win it, would be Joey, just because he has a legit chance at not making the playoffs.
Yeah, I think actually looking at the schedule and looking at his buys, there's a better chance he doesn't make it. But if he does, I don't want to play him.
I agree.
But that's what's going to hurt him if he sneaks in at 8 and Tyler plays him first. You know, Tyler could go to being a first round out.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would not want to face Joey if he makes the playoffs. But like you said, there's a good chance with his schedule.
Yeah.
If he pulls out a win this week versus me, which he is projected to, but it's going to be a close game. If he pulls out a win, I think he's feeling pretty good.
If he wins, he should beat Carter, but again, without
McCaffrey, you know.
Don't know. If he beats you or me, that greatly improves his chance because we go down, he goes up.
Right.
I think if I'm Tyler, I'm rooting heavy for Joey to lose a game because I think that he's that team that if he's out of the playoffs, McCaffrey's not in the playoffs. It's a way easier run for everybody involved.
Yeah, I agree. But it's something to keep an eye on. Very interesting week. A lot of big matchups, you know, for me versus Joey. Matt versus Cam is huge. And Mike versus Warren, that's the second playoff spot that's not, you know, they're out. That's the second team out, the loser of that. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. high scoring. Points for is close. I know Tyler, Cam, Jake May are all pretty close. Paul might be up there. I know maybe I'm up there too. It's all going to be pretty close. I think, the points for $50 is close. The pick'ems, please keep doing that. I think that's kind of over though. I don't know how much, Tyler would have to go 0 for or 1 for the next 3 weeks, which you never know. But he has a very, very big lead. I think it's 5 games.
Yeah.
So that could be over, but you never know. But keep up. This is the first show in a while. We're definitely going to hit the stride here. Me and you get the playoff shows, and the last 3 weeks are going to be interesting. So expect the show out every week from here on out. And then that's all we got. Thanks for tuning in. I don't know how long this is. It's probably
I don't have the timer up. I didn't see it.
It's going to be a long one. So
a lot of good content.
Good info. Hope everyone tunes in. And that's all we got. We'll see you over the weekend. Keep the chat booming. Unless you're Joey, don't send shit. So we'll keep it at that. All right. Take care. Have a good weekend.